There were so many real-life examples I could allude to. Ray Lewis, Kobe Bryant. These gentlemen were all incarcerated for felonies, but later acquitted by a jury of their peers. So after going back and forth, Todd Williams, the negotiator with the Cowboys, came back to me and said, look, this is what I can offer you. And it's a legal term, you guys probably know it already, course of dealing. Dallas's course of dealing. Jerry Jones has never, and to this day has never gone after anybody's signing bonus. There's a player for the Cowboys, Dwayne Goodrich, he's a cornerback. Vehicular homicide, 2001, cornerback for the Cowboys. They didn't go after his signing bonus at all. So with that course of dealing, I had enough assurance and comfort to go ahead and sign off on that language. It never came up, recruiting the right guys, it really is a moot point 99.9% of the time. But our job is to protect our clients no matter what. How do you make your mark in the industry? Daring to dream. Acquiring the proper skill set is very, very necessary and it's crucial to your success in sports management and representation. The fact that you're sitting here at an excellent law school, that is a huge step. I think having a legal background, knowing how to review a contract, knowing what a force majeure provision is, that gives you a leg up over 95% of the other agents out there. If you have any business-related coursework, whether or not you were a business major in undergrad or not, you can take some business law classes, learn about different terms of art. Accounting, finance, marketing is always very helpful in this endeavor. I've already spoken about taking advantage of the opportunities that lie before you. Every circumstance, every situation is an opportunity waiting to happen. And you should always be on the lookout. Keep your eyes and ears open for opportunities that when they do arise, and take full advantage of them. No replacement for hard work. You have to get out there, you have to work hard. And it's just like anything else you do in life. If you want to be successful at something, you have to work hard, you have to sacrifice. There are a lot of people that want to be good, but there are only a few people committed to being great. And however you define success, whether it's self-fulfillment, respect of your peers, monetary reward, it will come to you in due time if you stick to that principle of hard work and keeping your faith. Never be satisfied with where you are. Satchel Paige once said, don't look back. Somebody may be gaining on you. And that really is true in this industry. You always have to be looking ahead. You always have to be looking to the future and trying to think of new ways to develop and expand and evolve. And that's key. Networking, we've talked about. Getting out there, hitting the pavement, making connections with NFL teams, coaches, scouts, GMs, personnel directors, people in peripheral industries that could help you to leverage not only your clients' prospects off the field, but could also help you land a client in the first place. Those are important ideas and concepts. Doing it the right way. There's been the whole issue, and I think somebody's going to ask a question about the recent Sports Illustrated article, Josh Luke's paying players, the North Carolina players, what's happened down there, the fiasco. You stand on your merits. And for me, it was a little discouraging to see that, and even getting in the industry at the beginning, just to see that there are guys out there that really, in questionable moral fiber, so to speak. But you are who you are. And if you stand for something, if you have principles, you have values, and you stick to them, people will look you in the eye and they'll see what you're about. And when you stand on your own 2 feet and you live by what you believe in, the fact that there are all these jokers out there doing whoever knows what, because they don't have the merits, they don't have the substance, they have to pay players, they have to do things underhanded because they can't stand on their merits. That should raise you up, and you should be able to transcend all of that. And for me, to see stuff like that and read that article and see what's happened down in North Carolina, that gives me an advantage. It makes me feel like what we've done so far, what we're doing, what we will continue to do, it'll help set us apart from the rest of the crowd. Finally, you got to dare to pursue your dream. And I know that I can just see and sense in this room that there's a lot of ambition here. A lot of people that have the passion to whether it's in sports or entertainment or in the legal field, to really pursue and be the best at what they want to do. And I tell you, I challenge you to hold true to that. Maintain your vision. Believe in yourself. Keep your faith. Work hard. Take advantage of opportunities. But whatever you want to do not be afraid to pursue your dream. questions about the lockout, the potential lockout 2011. As a lot of you may know, the owners opted out of the last collective bargaining agreement due to the fact they felt like they were getting hosed, so to speak. Out of the 4 major sports leagues in North America, basketball, baseball, hockey, and football, the NFLPA has done a tremendous job. They currently receive 59% of total revenues derived from the NFL. That's the highest percentage for any of the 4 major sports leagues. So that is the reason why the owners opted out. They're only getting 41% of the pie, and so they felt like, you know what, this is not a good deal. We need to come up with something better. So the major fear now is that as the negotiations proceed and with regards to the new collective bargaining agreement, the owners are going to lock the players out next year. There will be no NFL season. The reason why they're in a position to possibly do this is due to the fact that they have a $4 billion, they're guaranteed $4 billion from their TV contracts, even if games are not played in 2011. And that really does give them some leverage in these negotiations. Players don't get paid if they don't play next year. Owners can sit back and they can collect $4 billion. So in terms of bargaining position, I think it really does put the owners at an advantage. At the end of the day, I think that there will be an agreement that's reached because, however you divide up a dollar, they're making so much right now. NFL owners and players, it's been such a prosperous time. Given the state of the economy, the NFL is still raking it in. It doesn't benefit anybody, whether it's an owner or a player, to sit out next season. Obviously the owners say, well, we have the $4 billion. Well, if you play, you can get $18 billion. So what makes more sense? But I read something recently saying, who's going to win? Who's going to come out in better shape as a result of these negotiations? And it was really insightful to hear and to read in this article that, you look at billionaires, which are the NFL owners, billionaires who are going to collect $4 billion by not playing next year, against millionaires, which are the players, that won't make a cent unless games are played. So right there, I think that at the end of the day, 11th hour maybe, an agreement will be reached, but I think that the players are going to have to concede some of what they've gained. That's my gut. I've done some studies in terms of CAA. Their business model when they started and they entered in the sports industry back in 2006 was just acquiring agencies. They acquired Leon Rose's practice. They represent LeBron James, I think Carmelo. They have such a huge roster of NBA clients. They bought out Tom Condon, Ben Dogra from IMG, and Dogra was at SFX. Right then and there they have access to the largest client roster in the NFL representation industry. So, from what I've read, the fact that they've acquired these sports divisions has only increased their profitability and revenues. But you know what's crazy? There are a lot of agencies like in William Morris Endeavor. Oh, really? WME? Yeah, they're downsizing. They're downsizing their sports practice. They're really. I think they have a few sports clients, but they're downsizing. Gersh is the same way. They're downsizing. So it's really unique to see how CAA's model is about expansion at the same point in time where their biggest competitors out in LA are doing the opposite. They talk about Leroy Kelly, former Hall of Fame running back for the Cleveland Browns. His pension's $176 a month, and that's not right. And the good news is nowadays, the players realize right now, current NFL players realize that what the forefathers did in terms of getting them to this point where they're realizing all of these benefits, financial benefits of playing in the NFL, they need to be taken care of. John Mackey, the whole issue when he passed, he had dementia, he just was not getting any money. So many players are in that position, having to sell Super Bowl rings. You look at Mike Webster, former Hall of Fame center for the Steelers, just total dementia, living out of his car because he's not receiving a healthy enough pension. I think that that's going to be something that is addressed, and the NFLPA executive directors made it clear that that's something that they really want. It's going to be a major point in the upcoming negotiations, that they take care of the retired players. So I think that my gut would be that there's something is in place that they are able to reach an agreement on better post-retirement benefits for players. Clients don't like it. Players don't like it. It's going to shorten careers. That's been the consensus. I mean, 18 games, what it will do, it'll pretty much put certain records out of reach, like rushing records, longevity records, receiving records, because players, their bodies are not going to be able to last. 18 games is a very, very long time. I mean, a healthy NFL player at the end of the season, it's very difficult for him to get out of bed on Monday morning, go for treatment. So, obviously the NFL stance is about money. How much more would they get in game tickets, ticket sales, concessions by going to 18 games? TV money as well. Again, it comes down to the deep pocket. I think that if the discussion is being raised in the commissioner's office by NFL owners, and I think we may be heading in that direction. I mean, they're going to say the trade-off is we're going to shorten the preseason schedule. But exactly, I mean, in the preseason, your starters play a series or two, and then they're rested. So, I think, again, don't quote me on any of this, but I think my gut would be that we're probably going to go to 18 games.
Would that lead to?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think that it could. I think what you may see is maybe, if not roster expansion, maybe allowing more players to dress. In terms of active players, instead of 45, maybe they go up to 50 on game day. So we'll see what happens. There's a supersede provision in any NFL player contract stating that if a certain provision in the contract conflicts with a collective bargaining agreement, with a provision in a collective bargaining agreement in existence at that point in time, the CBA will supersede the provision. So maybe that may be a way to address it in these upcoming negotiations, to have NFL, the Players Association, put in a specific provision in the CBA stating that if the regular season goes to 18, then there has to be an escalator for, whether it's like a certain percentage over the current base salary to take into account the 2 extra games. That provision would supersede any provision in the NFL player contract. The skill set is practical experience. When you come out of law school, it's great. You take the bar exam. You have all this knowledge in your head, but it's sort of like, what do you do with it? And for me, practicing law and working on these different agreements, being able to go to a corporate client and negotiate, basically mark up an agreement, send back your revision, but just realize why you want to phrase certain things a certain way, why you want to remove certain language, why you want to put a certain provision in, different carve-outs that you can put into the agreement. I mean, that really, really enabled me to negotiate these contracts and feel that my ability to do so was on par with the very best in the industry, if not better. And there are a lot of guys out there that sort of fly by night. Really, they basically look at, okay, what's the money? What's the money? What's the money? Okay, cool, done. You want to look at the language? No, the money's good. That is so short-sighted. It's very obtuse to have that outlook. The language is just as important as the money you negotiate. You want to be able to protect that money over the life of the contract. What it does is it enables you to walk into a room, sit down with a family, sit down with a player, look them in the eye, and really believe what you're telling them, that I can negotiate your contract better than anybody out there. And when you believe that, and they see that in your eyes, they can tell.